Lately, I've been struggling with lust. It feels shameful. I'm vulnerable to lust because I've been an addict since age 5. I was first exposed to internet pornography when I was 5 years old. I was searching for a video game on my home computer. I had unsupervised computer access, and I went on Google and I searched for a video game which I played at school. And in the first pop-up on Google was a hardcore porn site, and it totally overloaded my little brain, and I didn't really know exactly what I was looking at, but I knew that I was ashamed. Like, I wanted to not. I didn't want anyone to see me looking at this, but I also knew that it made me feel good. And so I've struggled with lust for my whole life. It's been a lifelong struggle. Um, I've learned that the way to win the battle with lust is to come closer to God. When we are like Jesus, when we are like Jesus, we are actually incompatible with sin. And when we come closer to God, we don't feel that temptation as strongly. God actually protects us from those struggles. We actually are able to more recognize that doing those things, watching pornography, masturbating, um, having those kind of dirty thoughts, it actually separates us from God. And that when we come closer to God and we feel His mercy and His love, and we realize that lusting actually keeps us from that. It actually separates our heart and our soul from that when we are abusing our flesh. And I still struggle with lust, but something that um, a priest told me was, don't put yourself in situations where you will be tempted. So don't go to those websites that tempt you. And this might just mean stay off of obviously explicit websites. We kind of know that if we've been struggling for lust for a while. Pretty obvious that those sites will be very tempting, but also don't put yourself in those situations on those iffy sites, like where the algorithms kind of will slowly drip feed you more uh, tempting content, more stuff that exposes skin, more stuff that just makes you more tempted to fall back into old habits and old patterns. And that tip was really helpful for me as well. And I just want to go back to the shameful part about it. I think so many people I think a ton of people, men and women, struggle with lust and struggle with porn use and even into addiction. Uh, but the internet and other parts of or other people can also sometimes trick us and tell us that it's good for us, um, when it's not actually good for us. And what's good for us is actually hidden a lot of the time. A healthy relationship is what's good for us. Where doing those sexual acts is just a part of that relationship. And we kind of lose focus of that uh, if we've been tempted from a young age, or no one's made it clear to us what a healthy relationship looks like, or those things. Because when we don't know any of that, a lot of times all we know is the shame, and it can feel really shameful to even talk about with anyone. And um, so that's a huge part that's hard as well, is just that we can't even speak about it because the shame can be really um, like a prison cell. Uh, so that's all I really wanted to say, is that lately I've been struggling with lust, and um, being closer to God is what helps actually uh, with not using um, porn, or not falling into lust, into sin, and not putting yourself into those situations where you will be tempted is also important too.